Hi, Real Writers. I am back for June with an oracle card reading that you can either use for the month of June, or you can use it for a week or a day or whenever you are looking at this. It doesn't have to be June of 2018. It can be anytime. You could also, if you'd like, pick a card by moving your finger along and choosing a time at any point during this video and considering that your message. Whatever you'd like to do to make this reading your own. I felt called to bring in some of my stones and crystals for this particular reading, so I am burning some Palo Santo, which I believe is still burning. I have some red Jasper here. I just pull things that I'm called to pull, that I feel a connection to in the moment, but I'll point out a couple of stones in particular that are good for writers. So this is red Jasper. This is not particularly good for writers that I know of. I'm just pointing out the stones at this moment. This is Sodalite, which is a lovely deep blue stone. That's good for writers and creativity. This is Labradorite, which is good for writers and creativity. These other stones I'm gonna name, but I'm not gonna go into because you can easily look them up. There are a lot of resources on the web. So this is orange calcite, rose quartz, a quartz point, raw black tourmaline. Oh, and I always mispronounce this. Dumortierite. That's spelled D-U-M-O-R-T-I-E-R-I-T-E, and I will list these in the description box. It frustrates me no end when people name stones in their videos and then they do not put them in the description box so you know how they are spelled. I will do that, I promise. And this is red carnelian, and this is a selenite wand, which if you watch a lot of tarot or oracle videos, you'll know that people use this to do sort of clear the energy. You'll see people do this to clear some of the energy. These are fantastic for absorbing negative energy and dissipating it. They do not keep it, and they have endless power, selenite wands, or selenite in general, to absorb and dissipate negative energy. So you just don't want to, I believe you just don't want to put these in water, if I am correct. Like, I know some people like to charge their stones in water, and certain stones you can't do that with, or crystals, and I think selenite is one of them. Don't quote me, definitely look that up. So before I keep going, I wanted to mention that I have some other cool things that I'm working on, and I've been posting some samples of tarot poetry readings that I do, where I do an oracle. I'm mostly working with oracle cards, but I have worked with tarot cards. And I pull cards for someone based on a question they're asking, or I can do a general reading without a question if you'd like. And then I look at the cards and I write a poem about what the cards mean for whoever I'm pulling them for. So the reading is in the form of a poem. So check out the samples on this channel. There's information on how to order those and what that entails in the description box of all of those videos. And you can also email me at tarotpoetryreading@gmail.com. Also, if you would like some prompts, some writing prompts, I've started posting some videos on my other channel, which I will link to as well. And I'm posting videos called the 5-minute writing break, because you really can just take 5 minutes to write. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to write, and you can do it for 5 minutes. There's a wonderful article that I cannot remember the name of, but I will try to find it and link it in the box below, about finding 6 things wherever you are. If you're sitting in a park, take a moment and write down 6 things you notice. If you're waiting in the grocery store line, do it on your phone. If you are, text it to yourself. I do that all the time. Or if you're in the doctor's office, or you're in the car, or whatever, just take a moment and jot down 6 things. And don't write full sentences. Make them sensory details. And that's the kind of thing, color, light, weather, movement. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about for this. So I've posted these usually 1-minute videos, and then in the description box, you can find prompts and suggestions to get you started to write a response to them. And you can take multiple videos and group them together and write something. You don't have to do just one. I've only got about 9 of them up. I keep posting more. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I'll post a link to the other channel for those prompts in the description box. So now on to the Writer's Oracle reading. And I pulled these cards ahead of time, and I jotted down some notes of my first impressions. So you might hear some paper rustling. I have been working with tarot and oracle cards for more than 20 years personally and for friends, and sometimes for writing clients if they know I do this and they'd like me to pull a card when I do their editing for their books. But this is the first time I'm doing this kind of thing, and I'm a little nervous about sharing this aspect of my life and myself. And so jotting down a few notes of my first impressions keeps me on track, because I also get excited and ramble. And so we don't have to listen to a 2-hour video. I thought I would keep myself on track. So the first card is Solitude. And I really think this is a lovely card, actually. Maybe it's because I'm living in a city, but this place looks really good to me right now, the Solitude card. Let me show it to you, because last time I didn't actually raise these to the camera so you could see them. And it's sort of a lighthouse, sort of a tower. There's a ladder on the side. It looks a little gauzy, little dreamy. You could also interpret it as gloomy and isolated. Personally, like I said, this looks really good to me right now, since I live in a city and it's very noisy. So I hope that doesn't affect the video. But in terms of writers, this card means meditation in general. This card means meditation, retreat, replenish your energy. And if you've been too busy at work or with friends or distractions and you're avoiding writing, I guess what I'd like to say with this card is you can't hide forever, and you shouldn't. There's taking time to think and let things simmer. If you're writing a project that you're stuck on, you've reached a block or a wall there, it's good to take time and let things simmer or ferment or gestate or whatever word you'd like. Filling the well, going to movies, reading books, doing yoga, meditation, whatever you're into to sort of take a break and give your mind a rest. But then, there's also retreating from your passion because it's too hard, or you think it's too hard, or things aren't flowing and you get frustrated. And you can only do that for so long before it becomes a little dangerous. I'm all for taking breaks. I've written on my blog at therealwriter.com that taking a break is important. I'm a firm believer in that. And I have taken a break from writing for months and years. And I always came back and it was always fine. But that said, you have to know your own rhythms, and you have to be able to pay attention and know when you're taking too much time. So no one ever said it was going to be easy to be a writer. So it's important to take time to reflect on your writing practice and the writing project, and make notes about what is and isn't working, take stock of it. And I think, if this idea of solitude freaks you out, look on it in those terms, as an opportunity to take a break, maybe take a day and step back from all your commitments and social life and work and stuff, and or an evening, if that's too much, a day on the weekend. But take some time to sit down and just write about how you feel about your project and how you feel about where it's going and what is and isn't working. This can also literally just mean it's time to write. It's time to find a place and a time to write, whether it's for a weekend or every night for a week, just to get you back in the groove, because you're not going to hit the ground running right away. You might, but it's rare. Or even to apply for a residency somewhere, or book a hotel. Pardon me, my notes fell out of my lap. Or book a hotel somewhere for an overnight or a weekend and get back into your writing. So it can be as simple as that. So the next card is Ride the Wave, and I'm sorry, this is number 13, in case you're following along, and I'll make sure there's a little note on the screen about what cards I'm using. This is 14, and this is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck by Colette and Reid. This is Ride the Wave, and first what I'd like to point out is, look at this next to Solitude. These are both water cards. They're actually in order, 13, 14. So we're leaping from this to this. Look at the change here. Look how the dolphins have liberated you from the tower. That's really important. And next I want you to look at how much joy and play there is in this card. And all that flow that you want to try to get back to via the solitude. So my question for you is there joy and play in your writing? So I'll ask that again. Is there joy and play in your writing? And how did it make you feel when I asked that question? Excited, or sick to your stomach, or just blank? I know sometimes we're all going through really busy times, and now that it's summer, it's going to get even busier. It's harder to find that time, and there's so many social things, and work often gets busy depending on the field that you're in. But think about, are you trying new things? Are you taking risks? Are you not judging the results? That's very important. If you're not doing any of these things, this is what you should reflect on per the Solitude card. Ask yourself, why not? Why isn't there joy in play? Why aren't you taking risks? And how might you find that joy in play? And what kind of risks might you take? How have you been judging your writing? And how can you stop judging your writing? Sometimes what's good is to go back and look at something you've written before, or something that you've published, if you've published, or something that you've received great feedback on, whether it's through your critique group or from a friend or an agent, or just dig through a box of stuff you've saved and look at old writing. And I bet you'll find that it's much better than you remember, and you will read it and think, oh my gosh, did I write that? I can't even believe it. This is so good. You might even find something that you're excited about picking up again. And taking a break from the writing project you're working on and working on this thing that you find and you feel like you can finish, or you can revise into something even better. And that will give you the confidence to move forward with the other writing project that you've been avoiding. This card also means it's a very abundant time where your talent and dreams can carry you forward, and people and circumstances will come to assist and support you. Basically, it means you're on the right path. So again, 13, 14, solitude, joy and abundance. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So the next card is number 5, and it is goblins. So don't panic. The goblins card reversed means that you're vulnerable to being manipulated, and that you should step back from other people's stuff with detachment, that you should set boundaries and love yourself unconditionally. And I'm going to turn this around so you can see it. It's kind of a murky card. It's hard to see. But you can see the glint and glow of eyes hiding in the dark, and some little goblin in the middle there. I mean, if they weren't there, you might think this is kind of an idyllic wood, actually. The trees look a little spooky and not so sure about them. But ahead there's light. There is the possibility of light, and there are flowers, and that part's quite lovely. So, 2 things about this card. 1, this is a warning not to judge yourself as a writer or your writing against what others are doing. Don't mimic others, or don't think you are unworthy. They are who they are, and you are who you are, so you do you. No one can write what you do. And don't let anyone else into your head to judge you, or, to compare yourself against. The second thing that comes up for me is this can also be a message to not let others take advantage of you and suck up all your time. with what they need or want, or what they might be guilting you into doing because maybe you haven't seen someone in a long time, or they need help, or it's a family thing. Families can sometimes, you know, really suck up your time, and you feel obligated and you love people and you want to help, but sometimes they can just do what they need to do on their own, and you don't have to save them or solve their problems all the time. So just take that into consideration. You know, back to solitude card, retreat, set boundaries and take care of yourself. Make time for your writing. No one is going to give you permission or hand you the space and time to write. You have to make your writing a priority. No one else is going to do it for you. And ride the wave, you know, so if you make the time, you will be supported. Ideas will flow, opportunities will come. But if you don't write, you're telling the universe that your writing isn't important and isn't what you want to succeed in. Right? So you can't be not writing and then be annoyed because you're not a best-selling author and you're not winning prizes and no one's telling you how great you are, or you're not reaching people and changing their lives, and you don't have an amazing teaching job somewhere, or whatever it is, because you can't win awards for a book or a poem or a play that you didn't write. You know that the idea of the lottery is that you have to play to win. You can't walk around going, oh my gosh, I can't win the lottery. I never win the lottery, or I wish I could win the lottery, if you're never buying a ticket. Now, I'm not trying to encourage everyone to go buy tickets for the lottery, because that can be a rabbit hole, and pretty soon you're spending way too much money on tickets. I mean, maybe you have good self-control. It's fun once in a while, but if you're doing it every day or every week, I don't know, maybe take a look at that. But again, you can't win awards for a book or a poem or a play or a song or whatever that you didn't write. So because this was the Goblin's card, you know, we went from this to this, and again, it was reversed. It's just a warning. I wanted to pull a clarifier. So this is the clarifier card for Ride the Wave. And I'm just going to cover up the Goblin's card for a second. Okay, it's number 18, Magic Stream. Nice. Okay. So here we are, back in the flow. The water, see? Water, water, water. Great. But now the light's changed. Can you see that? So here it was kind of, you know, kind of gauzy. You could say gloomy. I don't think it has to be gloomy, but it depends on what you're seeing. Yeah, I'm not seeing gloomy. I'm seeing sort of a sort of gauzy, twilight, foggy time. Maybe in sort of cold weather, a little bit of cold weather, maybe March or something. Could totally go off on a story about this right now. Here we are, breaking the surface of the water, and here we are up in the light. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a lovely rainbow of blue and purple and green there at the top, and the water is sparkling. You can see how sparkling it is. It's such a lovely card. But look, there's a stream, and it has appeared out of nowhere. There's sky back there. It's literally just appeared out of nowhere to pour out magic. So this goes back to the Ride the Wave card. And I'm just going to put this here, put them all next to each other. It goes back to the Ride the Wave card especially. The support and flow will come out of nowhere if you focus on your writing. However, this card was reversed when it came out. So while the message is, this can be yours if you make time and room for it, focus on it, you know, the writing. The caveat here is that it can't be forced. I think you all know this. You can't force inspiration or that magic stream to appear. You can't force that stream to appear, and you can't go in search of it. You can't demand that it show up, and you can't, there's nowhere to find it. You can't find it. You have to make the time and find the solitude, focus on yourself, your style, your ideas, you know, your project, not those of others or how you could be like them You know, stop trying to be like other people, or write the book you think they want to read. You should write, for example, I mean, I'm speaking about books, but you can be writing a poem or a play or whatever. You should write the book or the play or the poem or the song or the essay or whatever that you want to read, that you're passionate about. So being upside down, this card says just be present and have fun. Play, immerse yourself in the experience of writing in all of its layers, which can be exciting and frustrating and kind of nauseating sometimes. I think that's when it's good, actually. At least that's what I tell my people who take classes with me and my editing clients. It's when it's both exciting and terrifying at the same time and you feel kind of nauseous, that's when the writing is going really well. But it's saying, you know, write your poem or book and the magic stream will appear. You know, don't try to be like another writer or write a book to fit the market niche or a formula that your heart isn't in, or decide to write only if you feel like it. You know, if you do that, you're smacking the Goblins card, which remember was reversed. You know, so which one do you want? Do you want this or do you want this? I think it's pretty clear which one you should choose. I'm going to put this reversed because that's the way it was. But remember that the magic stream doesn't happen right away or every time you write. And you know that. You have to trust it will come. And sometimes it will. And sometimes it won't. But you can count on that it's there. Because look, this is a tree. I don't know if you can see that. And it's a fairly mature tree. It's definitely not a sapling. And it wouldn't and couldn't grow there if the magic stream didn't exist somewhere all the time, ready to show up. The tree could also be your writing project, whatever that is, that it's always connected to that magic stream of inspiration and it's ready to take root and grow, and or it is growing all the time even though you don't see it. It's like when you take breaks from your work, your mind is always still thinking about it and working on it. So lastly, as I was looking at these, I was thinking that they also kind of create a story unto themselves. You know, if we were making a story out of these cards, there would be solitude. That's the status quo at the start of a story. A character not in the best place, alone. Maybe there's peace, but it could be isolation. You know, life could be better. There's a hint at a painful past here, a juicy backstory. And then inciting incident. Something unexpected carries the character away, changes their life forever. There's excitement, there's danger, there's adventure. And then the pinch point. The pinch point is a reminder of the antagonistic force and how it can block the protagonist or derail their goals. And it can happen in both Act 2 and 3. And it makes the protagonist look again at what their goals are and how they often rethink them and have a new goal because of the pinch point. So here, the goblins, the antagonist, gets the better of the protagonist. The protagonist feels doubt and fear because the protagonist is encountering the dark wood, obstacles, and wants to give up. But here we go. Sort of the climactic moment in a way. The main character rises to the occasion, believes in themselves, taps into their power, and finds support, and in the end succeeds. I just want to mention, though, that don't interpret this as a deus ex machina kind of ending, which goes back to the Greeks, where some god or goddess, usually Zeus, would show up and save the day. And so don't write a super complicated plot that you can't get out of, and then do a deus ex machina kind of thing where, you know, some crazy magical thing happens and saves the day, and that's how you get out of your story. A, that's not good writing. You're a writer. You should find your own way out. And B, that can sort of happen a little bit in certain stories, sci-fi, fantasy, stuff like that. but be very careful how you use that. So I wanted to, you know, we're skipping some bits here, by the way. There's many parts to a story that aren't all completely covered here. This is sort of a broad picture, but I thought that was kind of interesting how it sort of developed into a story in a way. So I want to pull a card to see where the character ends up after this. So just gonna, I've already shuffled these, but I'm gonna pick. Okay, number 42, wide open. Pretty sure I don't have to explain this card to you. I think it's pretty clear. Top of the world, anything can happen. Wide open. So that's a happy ending if this were a story. And if we were looking at this in terms of this reading, I would say that this means ditch your beliefs about your limitations. That's in keeping with what we've been talking about in this reading. Your voice is unique. No one else can write like you. No one else can tell the story you can tell your way. So you should express it. The story you want to tell, your voice, because if you do, the universe will support you. It will support you. Ride the wave, magic stream. So ditch the old ideas about yourself as a writer and about your writing, and dream a bigger dream. Dream a bigger dream. I'm going to cover the goblin. I think that's just it's nicer to do that. So again, if you picked something along the way in this video and didn't see the beginning, if you're interested in a tarot reading as a poem, look in the description box below. You can email me and you can see sample readings on this channel. And if you'd like some writing prompts, see the link in the description box to my other channel, the one with 1 minute or so videos. Sometimes they're 2 minutes or a little longer, but usually about 1 minute. And these are videos with prompts to give you a 5-minute break for writing, because even 5 minutes counts. It counts. And it keeps your hand in, and it gets you in the habit of just looking at something and reacting without censoring yourself or editing yourself along the way, which is very, very important. The self-editor and self-censor can often kill great ideas and kill your passion for writing, because you feel like you're always battling that inner voice. But it's about process, not product in writing. It's in revision and editing where the product matters, but in the writing itself, it's process, it's joy, it's play, it's yes, frustration. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it makes you really mad, but there is joy in that. It is, you know, creating something, being a writer, there's nothing like it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So try to just ride the wave. So write on, everyone. Thanks for watching.